Hello, everybody. So today is day 3 of the Chatbot Challenge. Thank you for attending live. Today we're going to talk about creating an offer for your new chatbot agency. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk about offer creation. This particular section may take 2 days because it's really important. You won't make any money without a good offer. So if you have a bad offer, you're dead. All right, so let me share my screen. And we're going to open up this document like we have in the past. Okay, so I've got a long list here called Make Me an Offer I Can't Refuse. Okay, feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions throughout this, but I'm going to go through these. I'm going to go through these bullet points and just kind of talk about what an irresistible offer is. So an irresistible offer is a deal that's too good for your target audience to pass up, meaning, hey, you're going to get an AI chatbot. Okay, that's cool, but what else do I get? That's not irresistible. I can get a chatbot from this person, from that person, right? So you want to make your offers irresistible. So what makes for an irresistible offer? Briefly, an offer provides immense value to the customer. You're going to give them something for maybe $500 a month that in their mind is worth $10,000 a month. All right, that is the secret. That is the way to have people feel that your product is so valuable that they can't say no. They will have zero problem parting with their hard-earned money because your deal is so incredible. And it has to solve a problem. If your chatbot is just cool and it's the newest, shiniest object, well, people aren't necessarily going to spend money on that. Some might, but your offer needs to address a problem. For instance, an offer that solves the problem of responding to leads in a timely manner. It's a huge problem. Qualifying leads, big problem. So as you identify problems, so you're going to want to identify the problems, and we'll do this as a group later, but you're going to want to identify the problems that your potential audience that you're selling to may have, and how can I solve them and pack it into my offer? And we're going to talk about that. And a good offer has urgency, meaning only 50 left, ends in a week. You know, it has to be urgency to it. They need to think that it's going to run out either because there's scarcity. I'm only working with 30 clients. I'm only working with 2 clients this week, or this deal will only last until it runs out, or will only last 30 days. And it isn't the same as a guarantee. It's just you're applying urgency. If you've seen websites where you see the little widget popping up in the corner that says, "Hey, Sally Smith just bought this product. Hey, so-and-so just bought this product." I'll be honest with you, most of those are fake. Okay. That is a widget that appears to intimate urgency to other viewers. It may be real. I mean, someone may have bought the product, but you can buy them. You can get these widgets that show, that show so-and-so just bought it. So it looks like too many people are buying this. I've got to jump in. I need this. And you've probably seen this. I don't know exactly the names of the services that offer these widgets, but you can put it into any website. And then a risk reversal. This is your guarantee. And this is super important. So it's either a guarantee or a return policy that removes any risk. So for instance, one of my favorite risk reversal guarantees, if I'm doing lead generation, is I guarantee that you will get 10 booked appointments in 30 days, or we'll keep your campaign running until you do. Okay? I'm not giving them their money back, but I'm providing them with a guarantee that I will get you what I promised you. I'm just going to keep running your campaign longer. Obviously, if you're charging them monthly and it takes longer than a month, you can't bill them for the second month, but it's a way to keep them with your product and remove risk for them because you guaranteed them 10 appointments, let's say, through your AI chatbot, and you're going to give them those, but it might take longer than you expected. The downside of a risk reversal offer is on your end, where theoretically, I've run into this, where you may eat it by having to come good on the guarantee you made them. For instance, it may cost you a lot of extra money to get more leads to them. If they're not booking appointments, you got to buy more leads on Facebook. You got to do more time-consuming things to manually contact them, follow up with them, etc. So a risk reversal is, and I'm going to show you examples of risk reversals in real life. Okay. And finally, an irresistible offer has bonuses, lots and lots of free bonuses. For instance, you're going to get a chatbot. You're going to get access to my Slack group. You're going to get access to my private Facebook channel. You're going to get a downloadable PDF of how to write great prompts for ChatGPT. Okay. So the more free stuff you can add into your offer, the better. And when I show you real world examples of offers And bonuses, you'd be like, oh, I get it. One bonus is if you guys are using Go High Level as your CRM, hey, work with my chatbot, you get a free CRM, right? I'm sure you guys have heard that technique of giving them away tools that Go High Level provides, and then for free with the service itself that you're offering them. Okay. Any questions before we move on to the next section? Awesome. So this is super important. Okay. So number two, the value ladder. What the value ladder is, your offer doesn't necessarily have to be everything that you sell, right? And this kind of goes out of the offer creation space, but I want you to know about it because it's important when you make your offers. And what a value ladder is a cheap offer, a medium priced offer, and then a high priced offer. Okay. So for instance, you may want to give away a free lead magnet. A lead magnet could be a downloadable PDF file in exchange for their email. Okay. Then you'll email again. Hey, I've got this great service. It's only $200 a month. You're interested? You interested? And then you upsell them to the next service. And then you upsell them to the next service, right? So there's an image on here of how a value ladder would work. Simple offers all the way up to your main offer. And it allows you to provide an entry-level product, which is easier for you to produce. For instance, if you want to use ChatGPT, you could ask it, hey, help me make a lead magnet to give away to my potential clients. And it will guide you through how to make that lead magnet. You can use Canva, you can use a spreadsheet, you could make something in Go High Level. There's a lot of ways to offer cheap entry-level products. We're not going to get too deep into this because there's entire courses on how to create your value ladder, specifically Russell Brunson, Steve Larson, those guys, if you're familiar with them, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with them, you definitely should know Russell Brunson. Okay. And so your core product in your value ladder is your main offer. So if your main offer is your high ticket chatbot solution for solar, right? That's all the way at the end. And so that's your core product is your main offer. And that's the highest value product. And again, you bring them in at the bottom on a free or super cheap offer. You've probably seen these $7, get your free PDF, right? For free, get your free calculator, whatever. I'll show you a calculator that's a free one. It's a lead magnet, right? And then it allows you to upsell and move up this value ladder, and while still providing value on a lower end level where you don't have to do as much work, their expectations are much lower. Hey, here's a free calculator. Does it calculate? Yes. Well, congratulations, your lead magnet worked. And that's all they're expecting. So it's nice to start with a lower ticket item, move up to a higher ticket item. We'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. And finally, like we said, at the end of your value ladder is your high ticket offer. If you want to do more than survive with your agency, you want to make sure that you have a high ticket offer. You don't want to sell a bunch of low. There's the school of thought where you may want to have a $10 offer to 10,000 people. Well, that's a lot of money, right? But you got to sell 10,000 people as opposed to sell 10 people on your $5,000 offer. You're going to put in almost the same, you know what I mean? So you have to figure out if you want to focus all your time on getting people into your system at a low price and moving up your value ladder, or just trying to pitch the high ticket stuff. And you can do both. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. So this is the concept of the value ladder and how your offer or offers fits into it. And you don't need to make this all at once. Some people like to start out with a lead magnet because it's easy and cheap. It's a good way to build their email list. Other people go right for their high ticket offer. I did. So I'm going to show you how to do both. Okay. Any questions on the value ladder? Awesome. Okay. So in order to make a great offer, this is basic stuff here. I didn't invent any of these techniques. These are things you can learn by, I put a couple books or book in here. Alex Hormozi is a real great author. You might have heard of him. He writes a great book called $100 Million Offers. It's about this big. I highly recommend you read it. Also, Russell Brunson's books are fantastic. Okay. So in order to make a good offer, you need to identify the problem. Okay. So for instance, when I was doing my EV leads, I found the problem to be they're not responding to their leads. That was an exact problem that my audience faced. And it was a struggle for me because they thought my leads were bad. And I was researching it more than they were in terms of they just thought their leads were bad, but I knew where they were coming from. So, and I knew that it was a problem that they're not responding to these leads. So a chatbot is the solution to a problem. And that's research. So you need to do research. Again, you can use Merlin or ChatGPT to do research for your audience. What are some problems that solar installers have getting new business? What are some problems that travel agents have booking appointments, okay? And you're also going to want to use Google to do your research and really understand what the problems are in any industry that you're serving so that you can solve them, okay? And you obviously want to empathize with your customer, make them feel like that you understand where they're coming from. You try to use the same language as them. A good way to do this is to join groups. For instance, I'm not an electrician, but I was working with electricians, so I made sure to join electrician groups. It was out of my wheelhouse, but I wanted to understand how they speak and the problems they have. So just by watching other people in the industry that I'm trying to sell to, I can see the problems they're having because they're talking about it all the time on Facebook, right? So that's another thing. You could just look on all the problems they're having on Facebook and just, and then solve those problems, write them down and try to figure out a solution for them. And you want to solve the most pressing issues that they have. So your offer should solve something that is a big problem they have, not a tiny problem. For instance, a big problem would be responding to leads in 5 minutes, right? Or in 30 seconds. An unimportant problem would be following up with the lead after they've already booked their appointment, because it's not the most important thing you want the bot to do. It's the second most important thing. Okay. So identifying the problem is crucial to creating an offer. Again, I'll show you examples of a bunch of different industries and the problem that is solved, in our case, with conversational AI. Okay. Awesome. Now we're going to move on. So you're going to present your solution. When you make your offer, you want to make it be like the perfect solution. All the benefits, what makes it unique, and it should be simple. I can't stress this enough. Whenever I use Chat GPT to write out content that I'm going to be putting in a group, I'm going to be posting, I'm going to be using in any way that other people are going to be looking at, sometimes it's too complicated. It's written in a way that doesn't make sense to most people. It makes sense to us because we're in the business, but not necessarily to your clients. So make sure that it's something that a child can understand. And one way to do that is to say, ChatGPT, please write this so that a kid can understand it. And it sometimes gets a little funny in how it responds, so you can tweak it, but you really want to simplify your solution because we're also talking about a solution that is new. AI chatbots. Oh boy, that's you really need to explain to them what the benefits are, why it's unique compared to ManyChat or compared to ZappyChat, let's say, if you're using CloseBot. So you need to be prepared with these answers when you make your offer. Okay? Awesome. Now we're going to talk about adding value. Your offer, like I said before, isn't just one thing. Hey, I'm going to get you leads for $50 a lead. Okay, well, that's cool, but what else do I get? Well, you get free access to a CRM, my Go High Level CRM. You get free tools that you can use for your business. You get access to my Slack channel. You get access to my school group. So that's stacking your offer with bonuses and added service. Here's free PDF files. Here's a free calculator. It's free, but each one has a value. And we'll show you how you're going to show the value and add it all up. But then you're going to cut it to like 90% off, 50% off, whatever, to make it seem like an unbelievable value because you're stacking a bunch of different things in addition to your main offer where you're solving the problem. Okay. And these are bonuses. They're freebies, an ebook, a mini course, kind of like what I'm doing. You could have a free access to a course. You could write a quick ebook, a PDF file. You want to make it exclusive, order now and you will get this, this, and this. Limited supplies last. Obviously, if you're offering digital products, that isn't necessarily true, but you wanted to make them feel like that they need to take action now. And again, this goes with the scarcity and the urgency, exclusivity. And then you want to over deliver. This is something that Alex Hormozi teaches, and I think most people that are doing this already with their agencies, regardless of whether it's a chatbot agency, are trying to do. Like I said, if you have a huge offer stack that looks like it's worth $10,000 and you're offering it for $500 a month, wow, that seems amazing. And then you want to make sure that you over deliver on what you promised so that you retain your customer. If you're doing a monthly offer, that's important. So you want them to always feel like they're getting just an unbelievable value for what they paid you. And you'll learn this on your own as you work with different clients and as you figure out what value you bring to the table compared to others. And it also depends on these are all relative as well, right? Certain clients may be happy with just something a small offer, and another client may need something huge. So I just make a huge offer, and then the person doesn't necessarily need a huge offer, thinks it's just incredible. That's over delivering. Okay. Any questions? Awesome. All right. Again, limited availability. We talked about creating urgency with either last, I'm only taking 10 clients this month, offer lasts 30 days, get it till supplies run out. If you're giving like a free t-shirt with your order, I've only got 10, 20 free shirts for the first people who order my product. And you want to have a deadline on there. So, ends in 30 days, ends on the 15th. Just make sure they can see when when this offer runs out for them. Okay. And again, scarcity, noting limited stock, only taking on this many clients, whatever. There's a lot of ways to do this. And then remind them. So for instance, in my challenge, I'm constantly reminding people, hey, the class is today. Don't forget to show up. The class is today. If you're selling a product through an offer, you do the same thing. So once you have their email, for instance, you can keep reminding them if they haven't purchased, right? Hey, this offer only lasts 4 more days. Get it here. Boom, offers tomorrow. Don't forget. So this is where you're nurturing and your follow-up with the lead that you may have gotten from a low ticket offer with all they need your email address, or someone who made it all the way through your checkout page and left. Okay. You're going to keep reminding them, offer ends soon, offer ends soon. I'm sure most of you have gotten emails like this, especially from social media marketing agencies that are very good at this technique. Okay. This is something you definitely need to do with your offer. Any questions? Awesome.
Can I chime in?
Yes, you can, sir.
What's up, guys? Hey, so I just want to say there is the count, from a technical standpoint, there is the countdown timer element, right? So countdown to it. I also just personally launched, I've struggled to sell things before, but I also just personally launched this new infinite nurture snapshot, and it was the first. No matter what, if you sold 100 or you sold 0, if it's the first batch of people, you can say, hey, you can help me test this. You can be the beta group, right? Just like this is the first time through. No matter what it is, you can pitch it as a feature. Like, hey, the first ones, you get the discount, you get more high touch to me. The next time it's going to be paid, the price is going up. One of the things I want to do is actually add a countdown timer for when the next thing is going to start. Now, I could sell this digital product any time of the day or night, right? But what I did was I kind of couched it as, hey, I'm taking 20 people. I'm going to hold your hand. And so it also gave me the opportunity to say, hey, look, there's 17 spots left. Hey, there's 15 spots left. It gives me extra reasons. It gives you extra reasons to reach out, for one, because you have the urgency and the scarcity. It's very powerful. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. And there's a distinction between the two. The scarcity is the only 20 spots, and now those spots are going down, right? And then the urgency is, hey, we're starting the new group on this actual date. We actually, there's a hard date that we're starting this on. And those are very, very powerful, and they give you extra reasons to reach out. And I've probably done almost about $4,000 in snapshot sales. And I think a lot of it has to do with some of that urgency and scarcity that he's talking about here. So,
yep. Thanks, James. That's important. And another thing that's cool about urgency and scarcity is that it makes the people that take you up on your offer, it makes them feel special, especially like, hey, right, be one of 20 people, join my beta group, be the first. We're the first, right? In this
and
group.
Kind of taking them in, at least taking them in as a group, like, hey, you're going to be, I called it a cohort. You're going to be the first cohort, the first 20 people. And then guess what? The next time you say, hey, listen, I've already worked out the bugs. Now it's the second cohort. It's better. I've gotten feedback, and the price is going up. And so no matter what stage you are at in launching this thing, you have something different to talk about, and they're all true.
I'm going to add in price increase as a raise the price. So what James said is right. If you have, like me, I'll do something for free if I'm brand new to industry and I want to make a name for myself. And like a lot of people, this may be the first time you have an agency. It may be the first time that you are selling chatbots and you want to make a name for yourself. It may be better for you to give away something to get these people in your group. And then after the first round, the first cohort has come in, like you said, then you raise your price. Hey, price is going up at the end of the month. And then you do it again and you do it again until you find a good price that people are still willing to pay. You can outprice yourself. Okay. And again, it makes it feel special.
What's interesting too, like, honestly, like I didn't even sell out of my first 20 spots. But I did sell 15, 17 of them. Yep. And like, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I didn't sell 20 on the first day, but it's also way better than not selling anything at all.
Yeah.
I can still go back and say, hey, now there is only 3 spots left, even though it's taking me 2 weeks to fill those 20 spots. But at $250 a pop, that's good money for a digital product.
Fake it till you make it, guys. Really, honestly, don't let them know that you didn't sell out your 20-person offer. Don't let them, just honestly, fake it till you make it, because this is so new. Luckily, conversational AI is so new that we're all kind of faking it right now. So be glad that you're in an industry that's really new, because all these, especially AI, is such a shiny object that alone gets people excited. So it's not even urgency or limited quantity. It's just the cool factor. And that's what's nice about conversational AI right now, is that it's just cool. People get really into it. All right, cool. So does that help with limited availability? Thanks, James, for helping there. All right. Now we're going to talk about your guarantee, and I'm going to show you some examples of this. Okay. So like I said, no one's going to buy your product. No one's going to give you money, especially if they don't know who you are. You're just starting out. You don't have any testimonials, right? Without getting them some sort of guarantee. So we talked about a guarantee that I like to give, which is a risk reversal. I don't lose any. I don't have to have any money out of my pocket. This is great if you're just starting an audit agency. I'm going to add this in here, risk reversal. So risk reversal, like I said, is this would be, you will get X appointments in 30 days, or we keep running your campaign until you do. You don't have to spend it. You don't have to, you're not losing. You may lose money. I'm not going to say you won't lose money, but you're promising them something. So you have to come through on this offer. You're going to look bad. So there is some risk on your end here, but slightly, I'm going to add this in, slightly risky on your end, but it's a great offer. And I don't know how you're going to get people to buy your brand new thing, which is conversational AI right now, without giving some sort of at least a risk reversal offer where you don't have to spend any money. If you want to offer back a money back guarantee, I don't recommend that. If you have the resources to, potentially refund someone after you've done a lot of work for them, or they paid you a ton of money, then you can offer a risk-free guarantee. And who doesn't love a risk-free money-back guarantee? Okay, so if you want to offer that, it's a great thing to be able to offer. And it needs to be a strong guarantee, right? So for instance, you will get these appointments in 30 days, or we keep running the campaign until you do. That's a bold statement. It means we're going to do it in a timely manner. We believe in ourselves, and we believe in ourselves so much that we'll keep running this campaign until you do. Even if we lose money, don't say that, but it's true. Even if you lose money, you believe in yourself and your product so much that you're gonna see it out to the end. Okay. And hopefully you won't lose too much, but your reputation will go up regardless. So people are very happy to work with you if you're constantly reaching out to them. Hey, sorry, we're not getting your appointments yet. What can we do? So when you're doing these types of especially risk reversal, make sure you're talking to your client throughout, especially when you're onboarding them in the beginning, so that they won't cancel, and so they feel like that you're giving them time, your valuable time, and you're really, 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 really trying hard to meet the obligation and the promise that you made with your guarantee. Okay. And again, the guarantee terms need to be explained plainly. One way to do this is obviously to have and I'll show you this, is to have your guarantee in a separate web page, listing it out so that there's no arguments. You could say, well, it's not that they have to sign anything. That's up to you when you get into contract signing and all this stuff. Later, we'll talk about that. But showing them, just rather than one sentence, we'll give you your money back. What does that actually mean? So that there's no confusion. So that's something you're probably going to want to have somewhere on your site. I'll show you how I kind of hit it on an older version of something that I made. Okay. Any questions about your guarantee? Awesome. Okay. So your offer, every offer has a call to action. Okay. And at the end, the call to actions come at the end. And it's usually click here to buy now, click here to reserve your spot. But you need to tell them exactly what to do. Click the button below, right? People you think are going to do what you want with your sales copy or with your sales and marketing collateral. But unless you directly tell them, click the yellow button below now. And you've seen Russell Brunson's and those kind of folks do that technique. And there's a reason they do it, because it works. We even use calls to action in our chatbots. For instance, the call to action would be booking. setting an appointment, making a phone call, scheduling a phone call, right? And the call to action needs to be visible. Big, huge button. Click here for your free case study. Click here to buy now. You have to make it idiot proof so that everyone knows to get the offer, I click here. And most offers, when I show you an example of a page with an offer, the only thing you can really do on the whole page is click the call to action button. That's all, the whole page. And that's the difference between a sales funnel, by the way. So if you know the difference between, if you know what a sales funnel is, opposed to a website can have a ton of links at the top. It can go everywhere. There can be a ton of information that's unrelated on the homepage. We're going to talk about sales funnels for our offers, which is what we're discussing one thing and one thing only, and it's all coming down to the call to action. Okay. And again, the urgency. Put your urgency statement right under the call to action. Offer ends soon. Click here to buy now. Just you want to promote your urgency and scarcity as much as you can, because we're all humans and we have fear of missing out, right? That's how stock markets work. Either you're afraid you're going to lose money or you want to make money. So that's how humans think. And you need to use that when you make your offers. And this works for everything. Any offer you make, regardless if it's for this course or anything you do, put a call to action, even on your emails. Click here now. Click here to buy the product. Everything should have a call to action. Okay. Any questions, comments? Awesome. Okay. Social proof. So we talked a bit about social proof, where if you have an offer and you see a little widget popping up in the corner, hey, Jenny just bought a copy of this package. Hey, Bob just bought a copy from Arkansas, just bought this package. That's the I forgot what the name of that is, the technique that is, but that's an example of social proof, a testimonial social proof. If you can get people to talk, satisfied customers especially, to talk about the offer that you fulfilled for them, that you're trying to get other people to buy from you. If you have testimonials of happy customers, that is probably the best thing that you can have in order to show other people that, hey, this guy's not joking around. Look at all these other successful customers that he has, or she. And obviously, when you're just starting out, you're not going to have any testimonials. And a way around that is to give away some free stuff, give away a free bot or two, give away some lead magnets, right? You want to get as many testimonials as you can. When I'm done with this challenge, I'm going to ask you guys for testimonials, right? And then you want to, you can quantify it. This offer has helped over 1,000 people make recurring revenue every month, or I've helped over 50 electricians reach their target goal of $1 million a year, or you just want to show how successful they can be with your offer. However, you want to stick away from how much money they're going to make and putting exact number values. I don't think that applies to conversational AI necessarily, unless it's maybe a buying bot. But you really do not want to talk about how much money they're going to make. And in fact, don't, because you need to have disclaimers on your website. You'll have trouble running Facebook ads, and just be really careful when you quantify how awesome your product's going to be financially for them, at least without lots and lots of proof. All right. And then authenticity. Yes. So that thing that's popping up in the corner, we're showing, Jack just bought this from Arkansas, and so bought this, and so bought this. That's trust. Okay. That's something, so the testimonials have to be real, but then the trust, the authenticity, when this thing pops up, so-and-so's buying it, so-and-so's buying it, so-and-so's buying it. And again, a lot of those aren't real. You just put in a bunch of names in the little widget and it just rotates through them and it looks real. Right. So, it's up to you if you want to do something like that to provide trust in a product. But if you believe in your product, it's helping people, but you just haven't done it a lot yet, and you want people to buy from you, adding that type of widget on here might be helpful, but there's, it's borderline, could be lying. So it's up to you how far you want to push proving that your offer is a good offer, because you could get fake testimonials. You could make up numbers, right? So this is important that it's truth. Okay.
Can I chime in again?
Please.
So I do know a developer. If you guys go to ghlbountyhunters.com, I actually know the guy who has a little bit of snippet of code that will do and it is real. So it's the real customers that come in, and it pulls in their image, and it has that little this thing is called a social proof type of app, FOMO, fear of missing out. And it's just a little pop-up. But if anyone's interested, let me know, or take a look at ghlbountyhunters.com. And you can see it in action. I don't know why High Level hasn't made it native yet, but yeah, if you're interested.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different tools you can use for that. But yeah, check out James's source. Okay, any questions on social proof? Awesome. Okay, So that actually takes us through this list here. So we might get to knock this out today, which would be awesome. So now I want to show you all some examples. Okay, so I've added a link here to a spreadsheet to share with everybody. No one's really seen this yet. So what I have here, can you see this? So what I have
Yes.
here is I made this with a client that I was working with who has a SaaS platform, Go High Level SaaS platform. And they had some different clients and they had some ideas and they got this client that does this and this client that does that. What could we offer them? What kind of offer could you make them? So that's what this document is here. And that's what I'm sharing with you all. Okay. So it just starts by, and this I used to explain to people that I was working with about why these offers are good. Because these are people that didn't understand AI. They didn't maybe understand offer creation. So this is explaining why these offers are amazing. First of all, these offers are all affordable. One nice thing about an AI chatbot when you sell this to your customers is let's say you're charging $500 a month for a chatbot, which is good money. I mean, that's $6,000. That doesn't a year. That doesn't include the setup fee, which could be high. That's 70 cents an hour for a salesperson working 24 hours a day. So in truth, these offers are affordable. Okay. These offers are desirable. A chatbot will solve all these problems for you right away without even coming up with other things you need solved. It'll do lead response, qualification, appointment setting. And it's a very shiny object, like we talked about. So everyone desires some sort of AI solution, or they may not know they desire it yet. And it's up to you to explain to them why they're going to desire it. And the offers I'm about to show you are unbelievable, meaning these are irresistible offers. Why? Well, a lot of these have to do with generating appointments, booked appointments to do solar, real estate, buying tickets, whatever. And the way you're going to see that I build that I would charge the customer for this monthly allows you to provide free traffic for them. But I mean, free in quotes because they're actually paying for it. But to them, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And then it's profitable. The more appointments they get with better qualified leads without having a human involved, it just increase. They could do this without increasing their headcount of their company or advertising costs, right? So it's a profitable tool to put into their business for $500 a month. You could be getting all of this handled for you. So I mean, unless you are doing it totally poorly, it's going to be profitable. And then you want to make sure that your offers are hard to copy. I'm obviously going to show you a bunch of offers that I came up with, and you're free to copy them all you want. But you want to make sure that the offer you present to a customer is so awesome with all this free goodies that that they're not going to be able to go anywhere else. For instance, you get to use my CRM, you get to use my lead magnets, you get to use my traffic generation techniques. All the things that you provide as a social media marketing agency expert that you would need to have an AI chatbot agency are the things that you'll be able to package up in a way that they can't just go to the next person and say, oh, can you do this thing that this guy said he was going to do? They couldn't because you're offering it in a whole big package. Could they look at your package and say, yeah, I'll do the same thing? Sure. But hopefully most of these are really not copyable in the sense that they're not going to be able to do it themselves. They're going to have someone like you help them. Okay. So let's talk about some different options. Okay. And while we do this, let me bring up some examples of the pages I made in Facebook to show these bots. Real quick, give me 1 sec, please. Okay. I logged in. Yeah. Let's see. I want to do this. Sorry, putting on a screen here. Boom, boom, boom. What I'll do. Let's see. So we buy generators. It's one. I'll load these up one at a time. Okay, cool. All right. So now we're going to go through some actual offers that I put together that I know are good offers because the group that I was working with who I created these offers for were going out and selling them and getting a ton. This is recent. So they're getting a ton of interest. These are, a few of these have been sold. Some of them haven't been. Okay. So I'm not going to say that these are offers in the real world. I have my own offers that I'm not necessarily showing here, but these are examples of some awesome offers. So we talked about real estate. Okay. So a real estate, talking about a buyer's agent. I'm not going to get too into real estate, but there's buyer's agents and there's seller's agents. Seller's agents are the people who represent the sellers of the house, and there's people who represent the buyers of the house. If you want to, most realtors want to be in the selling game because that's where they make the most commissions. Okay, and if you're following real estate, there's an issue going on with commissions, so they're worried about that. So I came up with this offer for realtors, okay? If you remember, I had that little buying bot. I also want to show you. Oh, I got to load it up here. Sorry, I'm got a new browser window going here. Less. Okay, so this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. All right. So here's an example. Before I share the offer I made for these folks. Here's an example of a realtor, okay? And this is me doing a little bit of research. This is what you would do with your clients. I'm going to look and see what is their current, what is his online footprint. A lot of realtors, and this is why realty is such a good industry to get into for us, for AI chatbots, is lots of realtors, especially successful realtors. They don't do too much with their own websites and all this other stuff because they get a lot of free tools with, for instance, realtor.com or their MLS, which is the multi-level listing service, and they usually pay for services for these realtors. So quite a few very successful realtors, they don't care about technology too much. They're a people, it's a people person game, right? They like talking with people, and that's what we're going to provide for them. Okay. So this is Les and Angela Wall. This is their website. They have their listings here, right? And so I clicked on a listing. I'm like, okay, let's see what these listings have. Boom. And I realized, well, look, their listing goes to a generic listing page where it does show the realtor here, but they lost all of the juice of having their name here. I can now find another realtor from their own search engine. So I knew that they may not have realized this, but I knew a problem they were having is their only online source of information for their potential clients. If they click on a property, it goes to a page that they don't have any control over. Okay, so they're potentially losing the client, let alone it's not that exciting, and this costs money. So I said to myself, because I knew realty, because I was working at Zillow, worked for Zillow, I said, what would realtors want in a package deal so that they could have their own listing pages and they can have a bot that does buying, maybe, right? So I said, all right, I'm going to see if I can do this real quick. Okay, so I made this, and this is before I came up with the offer. This is how I came up with this offer. So I wanted to see if I could create a listing page on my own and go high level. This took me, I'm not kidding you, 20 minutes. And it's totally legal to copy and paste because this is MLS listing data. This is public knowledge, right? You don't have to get permission to do this stuff. And if you're using CloseBot, I know Bryce is working on all sorts of tools to automate listing information, but this isn't supposed to be that complicated at all. All I did was duplicate this page here. That's all I did. I mean, just the property details. I didn't do anything else, okay? And the call to action is two things. One, it sends an email. They can send an email and the phone number, and then the bot could reach out to them and try to say, hey, just saw you're interested in this property. I'd like to set a meeting up with Les, well, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And I'm also providing a phone number. And this will, when I share the offer I made for this, it'll make more sense. I provided a phone number for this listing. I would probably recommend getting different phone numbers for different listings. They could be making 20, 30, 40, 100 grand on a house. A lot of money if they sell a house. So they'll be willing to pay a little bit of marketing fees in your package deal if they know that it's going to get them sales and it's also going to help them buy inventory. Okay. So here is the offer I came up with based on a little bit of my research, making a custom listing page, and then of course making the Facebook page that looks like this. Second, sorry. Okay. So this is their Facebook page with the buying bot. So there's a listing bot and a buying bot. And as I'm playing with this stuff and making a demo for myself and for these folks, I kind of figured out what the offer was. So here's this page. I made it really quick. A lot of realtors don't have this. So this is an example of something that comes free with my offer. Oh, we'll make you a Facebook page. We'll do all this other stuff. Things you would do as a social media marketing agency. You're just not necessarily charging them for that, quote unquote, because as you'll see, I'm billing them in other ways. Okay. So let's talk about the offer that I put together with them. Here. Okay. So I knew that they're going to want, and this is after being in the business and talking to realtors and showing you this demo I made and realizing what I'll be able to do. I came up with this offer. For $3,000 a month, for $2,970, I don't usually label things on even numbers, but for $3,000 a month, plus a $500 setup fee, you will get this, okay? You'll get 5 listings per month, which means a separate web page and a listing bot, okay? So you're going to get 5 numbers, 5 bots. That means you got to program 5 different things based on the listing. You're going to get a buying bot, which is here. A bot that does nothing but attempt to buy homes. Okay. And I know for a fact that this was impressive to them because they're like, whoa, that's really amazing. Because they can just be hands off. And there's ways you can use database reactivations into the buying bot. Okay. So that also comes in this package offer that I made them. Okay. So, and this is just my way of thinking here. I'm going to get rid of this for the client. Sorry. Okay. So for $3,000 a month, this is my offer stack, right? They're going to get 5 listings a month, each with its own listing bot. They're going to get a buy bot, 1 buy bot per agent. I'm going to run free lead gen, meaning I'm going to run a Facebook campaign. You could do it to a master bot that routes via triggers. That's more advanced. But I'm going to pay for the lead gen out of this $3,000 a month. Okay. So if you do make this type of an irresistible offer with free lead gen, it's exciting to them because they don't have to pay. They're like, wow, it's free lead gen. Yes and no, because they're obviously paying you far more than it costs you to use a bot. But be careful with this because depending on the market you choose, the lead generation cost could be restrictive. For instance, solar, right? It's not super cheap to get a solar lead. So I'm using it in this instance here because I think it would be cost effective. But this is something that you'd want to monitor if you're offering this in your package. Okay, so here's my buy bot. And then since they're getting my SaaS, this is so a SaaS means if you're don't know, a SaaS is the software as a service. A lot of people are selling their go high level as a SaaS, meaning they're charging you a monthly fee to use the service. And what I like to do is they get it for free. You buy my bot, you get the SaaS for free. Now that said, you can't use my bots without my SaaS, right? So they have to use my go high level instance in order to use the bots. When I say use, however, it doesn't mean they need to necessarily log into Go High Level, but I do need to make them a sub account in order to manage their bot. Okay. So they get free access to my SaaS. They get a free iOS Android app. They get free AI credits. They get free training, free support, maybe a VA. I mean, this hasn't been in the real market. So this is something this would be pricey, but as you know, CloseBot's offering Extendly customer support. So theoretically, you could offer 24/7 support by using Extendly and leveraging VAs. And here's my risk reversal for this. So we guarantee you will get X number of appointments within 30 days, or we'll keep running your campaign for free. I'm not putting a direct number in here because you're going to have to do a little bit of research to see what a lead costs for real estate. So I don't want to guarantee you're going to get 50 appointments in 30 days because obviously that's ridiculous. Is 10 enough? Is 30 enough? I don't know. 1 a day seems like a lot. People were comfortable. I know when I started doing EV leads, they were more than comfortable paying $1,000 for 10 leads, not even appointments, just leads. So appointments are worth a lot of money. Okay. Be aware of that. So yeah, so I charge $3,000 a month for this. This is $35,000. If these people don't leave, that's a $35,000 a year client. And your monthly work would be just changing the listings. Okay. You could even say, I'm going to charge you a $97 setup per listing. So they want a new listing, no problem. You get it with your package, just pay me $97. So there's ways you can do little setup fees and little upsells within your offer itself. And this wouldn't happen until after their first 5 listings are done, or they've used their 5 listings. So they're going to know that this may be cool for them and they're willing to pay this smaller fee, but this is money in your pocket every time you make a simple change. And if you could if you could have a VA do the work of making a simple web page, copying data from their web page or from a real estate Zillow or whatever, then you could be profitable with this. Okay. So this is an example of an offer I put together that is delivered like this. Okay. They have to have my SaaS in order for me to work with the bot. However, realtors are not tech savvy. They don't want to use your SaaS. They don't want to use your Go High Level. Trust me. But then what they do want to have is an appointment showing up on their calendar. Okay. And they love getting SMSs. That obviously means that they have to at least one time onboard with you in order to integrate with their calendar, right? There's, at least as far as I know, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know of a way to onboard someone to use their own email without them doing it for security purposes. James, is that accurate? Is there a way to automatically onboard someone without them doing any work to get into their calendaring?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Can you say that again?
Is there any way that you can have a client on board with you and get their calendar hooked up without them doing it themselves? Is there a way for a
Oh,
VA, for instance, to hook up someone else's calendar? It doesn't seem very secure because you need their password, right?
yeah. Yeah, I think
So that is a weird little problem. That's not a problem, but that is the one technical hurdle that all these offers, all bots, all
yeah.
things with GHL are going to have to overcome is the one onboarding session you need to do with them to get them to link to the calendar. I do it myself because I don't have tons of clients yet. And I also want to get to know the client and I want them to see me in action. And it's a
Yeah.
great way to interact with them. And if you could send them a form where they pre-fill out a bunch of stuff. And we had talked
Yes.
about using the form fields and your prompting and stuff, but to hook up that calendar, which is all you need to do to sell booked appointments, I do think you need one onboarding session. But that's okay. If they say no, I don't want to do it, then you know what? You don't want to work with them. They're going to be such a pain that they're not even willing to onboard with you to use your product. I would stay away from them and say, sorry, I can't help you. If you're not going to hook up your calendar, I can't help you. It's hard to say no when you're just starting out. I'd tell you that. But if you don't, you're going to get people with very high expectations, and that's going to cost you money and time. Okay.
Hey,
So
question,
again,
Josh.
yes, sir.
Hey, so because I haven't I mean I have wait a second. So to get people to onboard with the calendar, I haven't had an issue with people having a but they haven't connected. And let me think on that. Let
Yeah.
me think on that.
Connecting a calendar is a great way to avoid them using Go High Level other than getting their booked appointments. But there is, no matter what, there's this little integration fee. And I think it's a good way to weed people out that are going to be a super pain to work with. And now I've also had owners of businesses who don't want to do the onboarding pass me off to someone else that is willing to do the onboarding, right? Someone in their company that can just, that has access to their email, they just do it real quick. So there's ways around this. And real quick, I want to add, since you're selling all these offers with your Go High Level SaaS product to sweeten the deal, right? You can offer extras. You're going to get reputation management, right? You could make it free, right? And that's worth a lot of money. You could give them, I forgot to add one thing here. This is huge. Database reactivations. What that means is that you take their existing email list, or you help them even gather their list if they have point of sale systems. That's a good service to be able to offer. And you send an email or an SMS out to your existing clients. And then when they respond, then the bot takes over. Okay. So this is also a good freebie that you could offer because it's not too big of a deal on your end to set it up once. And then it's part of your irresistible offer. And again, when you're starting out, your offers are going to have to be really beefy and really awesome and really good. And it may take you more effort with your first few clients because you really want to prove yourself. You're learning, right? And you want to have good testimonials. And I'm not saying it gets easier once your first few clients are under your belt. It does. But it's going to be easier for you to figure out exactly how to tweak your offer to make it so that you're making good money. It's a win-win. It's a win for you and it's a win for them. You always want to have a win-win situation. Okay. All right. So we're coming up to the end of class today. We're going to continue this tomorrow. We're going to go over solar. We're going to go over a ticketing bot, which means you could put, send buy ticks to this number at a stadium, and then they could buy season tickets. We're going to talk about a business-to-business offer. We're going to talk about the bot that just buys something, a bot that does quoting. Okay. Maybe a finance bot. We'll see how much we can get done. I know that Luigi, you were thinking about a travel bot, right? So maybe tomorrow, after I do some of these examples, we'll do an offer in real time with someone in the group. A couple of you I know had some questions about what kind of offers you could build for some clients you might have or where you want to go, and we'll get to that tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Awesome, cool. So we'll do that tomorrow. And that is today. So your homework tonight is to work on your offer, do some research. And you could also improve your existing offer. So if you have an existing offer, maybe you want to flesh it out and add some more freebies, and add some more goodies to it, so it makes it really super valuable. Okay. So again, tomorrow we're going to offers part 2. Okay. And that ends the class. Are there any questions or things you need to go over real quick? No? Awesome. Oh, I hit record. Great.
Well, how much time do you have? I could
Let me stop this recording, eat some lunch, and I'm gonna work with James later this afternoon. But let me stop this recording. I'll hit you up, James, and we'll continue what we do in the afternoon.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
For you guys. In you guys' experience, what are you guys selling websites, landing pages for?
I'll let James answer that because I don't do that.
What are we selling?
It's a charity, and they want to collect donations through the.
I'd give it away for your resume if it's a charity. That's what I do.
Give it away for
I have charged, anywhere to, I would say anywhere between, websites can go up to 10 or 20, if you, whatever you can sell them for. I would think at least 2 to 4K for a nice little website build, especially if you're going to hook up some automation, some notifications, build it out in high level. But one of the things I did was I would get a setup fee, and then I would put them on my high level and get them on the monthly. So I would do a one-time build, right, and get a couple thousand for that, and then get them on the recurring on the other. I do have a video. I'll put this in the chat. It's how to collect donations in high level if you want that.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's like a name your price. It's like a name your price functionality that they recently came up with.
I think I saw that, but I didn't dive deep into it. Perfect. Okay, yeah, send that to me, James. I saw your other video for the Chrome extensions, working with other people. Yeah. So
did you watch that yet?
I watched like 2 minutes of it before this started, and I saw you on the screen.
It's only a 2-minute video. So.
James is at the higher end, by the way, guys, of charging. I mean, yeah, $2,000 for like a landing page and some automation. That's great. That's a really good price. You're making money. They're happy because everyone's like, well, I'll just go on Fiverr. Okay, you go ahead. You go on Fiverr and you build an awesome website with your Fiverr person. It could be done, but if they don't know what they're doing and know how to talk to the person, good luck, right?
That's right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everyone, and hopefully I'll see all of you tomorrow as we continue talking about offers. And then on Friday is going to be really fun. We're going to talk about branding. I'm going to show you Canva. We're going to make a logo. We're going to make a Facebook cover, just so if you don't know how to make your own visual content, you'll learn how. And I'll also show you how to use Canva for doing AI generated graphics like you might do in DALL-E or ChatGPT. Okay. Awesome. Thank you everyone again. I really appreciate it, as you all know, and I will see you tomorrow. James, I'll hit you up after lunch.
Okay. See ya. Thanks.
See you guys.